You know, history is full of them. These hidden hands, these figures lurking in the shadows who can change the course of an entire empire with just a single deadly act. So today, we're going to uncover the stories of some of history's most infamous assassins.
First things first, where does that word even come from? Assassin. Well, it traces all the way back to medieval Persia, and its definition is just chillingly simple. A murderer, someone who kills for political reasons or for money. It's a role that feels both incredibly ancient and, honestly, a little too modern for comfort.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. How can one person with just one weapon send ripples through time that we can still feel centuries, even millennia later? To figure that out, we have to go back to the very beginning. We're starting with the group that literally gave assassins their name, all led by a mysterious figure known only as the Old Man of the Mountain. Okay, so meet Hassan-i Sabbah. Back in the 11th century, he founded this super secretive order, the Nizari Ismailis, and he did it from this insane, impregnable fortress in Persia called Alamut Castle. From this mountain stronghold, he was about to unleash a whole new kind of warfare on the world.
See, Hassan didn't have a massive army, so he perfected something else: political murder. His agents were absolute masters of disguise. In one famous case, an assassin posed as a holy man just to get close enough to stab the incredibly powerful Seljuk vizier Nizam al-Mulk, who was basically the prime minister of a giant empire. That kind of ruthless efficiency gave them a terrifying reputation all across the medieval world.
But motivations change, right? So let's jump forward, way forward, almost 1,000 years. We land at a world where killing wasn't just about faith or power anymore. Nope, it had become a business. It was just another item on the balance sheet. So, welcome to 1930s America and the rise of a group with a name straight out of a movie, Murder Incorporated. This was no secret religious order. This was the brutally corporate enforcement arm of the National Crime Syndicate, a professional hit squad doing business across the country. And the sheer scale of their operation, it's just staggering. They're credited with an estimated 700 contract killings. This wasn't about a single, high-value political target. This was industrialized murder, where anybody could become a mark and be taken out for the right price. And when you put them side by side like this, the evolution is crystal clear. You've got the Nizari, driven by faith and power, using a dagger in a crowded room. And then you have Murder Inc., driven by cold, hard cash, using whatever tool the job called for. The reasons couldn't be more different, but the deadly result? Exactly the same. Okay, so we've covered power and profit. But what about the assassins who don't kill for either of those things? What about those who kill for an idea? This brings us to a whole other category of killer, one fueled by pure fanaticism and a thirst for vengeance.
Let me introduce you to the Sicarii of 1st century Judea. Their name literally means dagger-men, and they were radical zealots who saw assassination as a righteous tool of terror against the Roman occupation.
Their method was terrifyingly simple, but oh so effective. They'd hide these small daggers in their cloaks, walk into a crowded public place, like a market, stab a Roman or a collaborator, and then just melt away into the chaos of the panicked crowd. This was pure psychological warfare, designed to make nobody who worked with Rome feel safe, ever.
And this impulse to kill for a cause, it spans across all kinds of ideologies. I mean, think about the Nakhmim, or Avengers, who hunted down Nazi war criminals after World War II. But on the flip side, you had fanatical Nazi werewolf units trying to assassinate Allied officials at the end of that same war. For all of them, the cause was all the justification they needed.
But not all assassins relied on daggers or guns. The next story we're going to look at involves one of the most unique and frankly insidious methods ever dreamed up: the living, breathing weapon.
Yeah, you heard that right. Ancient Indian texts talk about the Vishkanyas, which translates to poison maidens. The story goes that these were young women who were raised from childhood on tiny, regular doses of poison until their own bodies became lethal to the touch.
So how did it work? Well, once they built up a total immunity, their own bodily fluids became poisonous. They could kill a target just by sharing a drink, or through, well, more intimate contact. It was the ultimate form of infiltration, a way to take out a rival king or general without a single sword ever being drawn.
So we've seen organized groups and some truly unique weapons. But what happens when a single assassination doesn't just kill one person, but ends up igniting a global catastrophe? This is Gavrilo Princip. He was a young, passionate nationalist who was radicalized by a secret society you've probably heard of, the Black Hand. Their one single goal was to free the South Slavs from Austro-Hungarian rule, and they trained Princip to be their weapon.
And the domino effect, it was immediate and absolutely devastating. Princip fires his pistol in June, killing the Archduke. A month later, war is declared on Serbia. By August, this unbelievably complex web of alliances has dragged the entire world into the Great War. One shot, millions dead.
But here's the thing. Was that one assassination the sole cause of World War I? Most historians would say no. It was more like the spark that lit a fuse on a massive powder keg that was already waiting to blow. It gave the great powers the perfect excuse they'd been looking for to go to war.
So, we've seen killers motivated by power, by profit, and by ideology. But the story isn't quite that simple. Is an assassin always the bad guy? Well, to answer that, we need to take one last trip, all the way back to ancient Athens.
These two men, Harmodius and Aristogeiton, killed the brother of the ruling tyrant. But they weren't hunted down as criminals. No, quite the opposite. The city of Athens celebrated them as the tyranticides, the tyrant slayers. They were seen as heroes who had restored freedom to the people.
And this, right here, gets to the absolute core of the issue. The ancient Greeks literally built statues to honor assassins they viewed as liberators. But today, anyone who kills for a political cause is almost universally labeled a terrorist. The act itself, killing a political figure, is the same. But how we see it is worlds apart.
Which leaves us with a really tough question, doesn't it? Where is that line? What separates a freedom fighter from a terrorist? Is it about their cause? Is it about who their target is? Or is it just that one person's hero will always be someone else's assassin?